Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me here today. My name is Kelsey, and today we are looking at messages from our ancestors. So we're gonna jump right into this. Out in front of you, we have 3 different piles, 3 different stones to choose from. And I'm gonna ask you guys to take a deep breath, really ground yourself, connect to your intuition, connect to your guides, to your ancestors, and ask which one of these 3 piles is holding the messages that you need to hear at the time that you find yourself at this video. And here we have pile number 1 with the Tarot of the Owls and the Alchemical Quartz. We have pile number 2 with the Hush Tarot and the Aura Amethyst. We have pile number 3 with the Celtic Dragon Tarot and the Fluorite. So go ahead, take your time, really feel out which pile or piles is calling to you, and I will have the timestamps to the beginning of each reading in the description box below. So go ahead, pause the video if you still need a moment, and I'm going to go ahead and move on to group number 1. Hello, my beautiful group number 1. Those of you that chose pile number 1 with the Tarot of the Owls and the Alchemical Quartz here, this reading is for you. And we're looking at messages from your ancestors. And starting off here, I'm really tuning into like the coloring of the back of these cards, the imagery here. I feel like for a lot of you guys, maybe you've been doing a lot of energy work or a lot of chakra work or aura energy work. And I also am really picking up on this idea of a rainbow bridge here with this coloring. I feel like for a lot of my group number 1s, you guys may be very connected to the spiritual realm, or you may even consider yourself to be a medium. And for a lot of my group number 1, I feel like you either had some past lives or some ancestors that came from Norse culture or heritage. That is coming through here quite strongly for group number 1. And I'm really seeing with this eye like the energy of like the seers, like a Nordic seer type energy is coming through here for group number 1, which is kind of fascinating. But I am also picking up on this idea here that your ancestors want to talk to you about the way you present yourself. There's almost an energy of masking coming in here. So it feels like this message has a lot to do with being able to be your authentic self, being able to expose your authentic self. I feel like your ancestors here, just with this imagery, are saying like, we can see you, we want to see you for who you really are, not who you present yourself to be. That is a big message coming through here. Wow. Okay, so group number 1, let's go ahead and get into your reading. And we're going to start by pulling a card here. And I'm going to read the message for this out of the book, and then we will get into your tarot and the rest of your cards after that. So group number 1, what do your ancestors want to talk to you about? Group number 1, please. So there definitely is an energy of self-love trying to come through here that your ancestors are really wanting you to connect to. And for some of you guys, you may really be very drawn to energies like Freya. You know, take it if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't, leave it for who it's meant for. But that energy is coming through here. Learning how to fight for yourself, learning how to stand up for yourself without being aggressive or without causing harm to others is something that's coming through here as well. Wow. So group number 1, this reading is just coming in like with an open channel, very open, and there's also like ringing in my right ear. So for some of you guys, there is a very specific ancestor that's coming through here that is masculine or on your paternal side of your family, so your father's side of your family genetically. Interesting. We have here meadow with vulnerability. Yes, there's something here about masking, about your ancestors wanting you to like show your true self instead of like what you present yourself to be, like I said. But let's go ahead and read the message out of the book for this card, group number 1, and see what this message says for you. Okay, so meadow with vulnerability here. The meadow in this card invites us in with its beauty and openness. The flowers have arranged themselves in a poetic design orchestrated by nature, and the lush rolling fields urge us to relax and stay for a while. Yet for some, the idea of being in such an open space is terrifying, and in an expansive meadow like this, we may feel exposed and defenseless, lacking the perceived safety of an enclosed area. For others, walking through a meadow can be an exquisitely satisfying experience. We can feel comfortable in the openness and visibility, enjoying the 360-degree view with nothing but the sky above. Yes, we may still feel vulnerable, but with a twist. This is a vulnerability built on the foundation of trust rather than fear. The capacity to trust our own instincts to tell us if there are any potential threats we must respond to. By relying on this instinctual knowing, we can relax and enjoy the beauty that surrounds us. You are in a place now where you can take risks with your feelings, and even more important, take risks with the truth of who you are. The truth you know in your heart and soul. You no longer need to be subjected to your conditioned fears of letting others know who you really are. Yes, others may judge, evaluate, criticize, and perhaps even put you down. These are very real possibilities. Yet by trusting that you have the strength to deal with these reactions rather than responding adaptively and always playing it safe, you can more confidently allow yourself to be vulnerable. Always holding back from expressing your truth can create an illusion of safety, but armed with your trust and your faith, you can choose to be vulnerable and share your authentic self with the world. So there is a message here coming from your ancestors, and what I keep hearing like over and over again is you're safe now. Like the danger is no longer there. So there is a kind of an energy here for group number 1 about coming out of survival mode. I feel like you've spent a lot of time in survival mode. Some of you guys may have even come from like a childhood or an early life where you had to present yourself in certain ways in order to stay safe, or you just spent a lot of time lacking a feeling of home or a feeling of safety or security. And there is a healing happening from that for some of you guys, so that you're able to feel safe enough to be seen. I feel for a lot of my group number 1s, there's something here about having like a fear of being seen, or like always trying to blend into the background, never wanting to be the center of attention because it feels very vulnerable and it feels very unsafe. And your ancestors are coming through here saying it's safe now, group number 1, okay? So let's pull some tarot for you and go a little deeper into this message for group number 1. What else do your ancestors want you to know for group number 1, please? I really just keep seeing your ancestors walking towards you over like a rainbow bridge. Interesting. We have the Knight of Cups, the 8 of Wands, and the 5 of Swords. Yeah, so group number 1, what I'm getting from this is that with the Knight of Cups here, it's almost as though You've really had to close yourself off. You've really had to hold yourself back and keep yourself in this very particular way of being, this very particular way of feeling and way of thinking. And I feel like you've done this for such a long amount of time that it's just become who you view yourself to be. And there's been this transformation occurring for you, I feel like, group number one, that's been showing you that this path that you've carved, you carved out of a need to stay safe. You've carved out of a need to move in a certain way to keep yourself secure, stable, or safe in the past. And you're realizing that this path actually wasn't carved to take you where you wanted to be or to allow you to be who you wanted to be, but it was carved out of a need for preservation, self-preservation. And I feel like a lot of your life has been that. Even here with this knight, with the armor on, it's like the armor is really speaking to me, group number one. And it's like you've led this life of self-preservation, and because of it, you've been having a very difficult time maybe tuning into how you truly feel or what you truly want. If somebody asks you what it is that you want or what you want in life, you may have a very difficult time answering that on a deeper level. Like you may very well, very surface level know, like, well, I want to advance in my career, or I want to, find a romantic partner. But there's something here where it's like you're not able to access the depth of yourself due to the fact that you've closed that part of yourself off for such a long amount of time that it's almost like dried up, like the well is dried up, is a message that I'm getting here for group number one. And your ancestors are coming through here saying it's safe. It's safe to, break that dam down and allow yourself to flow, to allow yourself to be seen, to allow your path to change. Some of you guys here may be really contemplating a direction change or a major lifestyle change, or really recognizing that maybe you're not leading the life that truly is meaningful for you. And your ancestors are coming through here very strongly saying like you are safe and you are able to embrace this change and to allow yourself to be free now. There's like a self-liberation thing happening here for group number one, allowing yourself to break free from the confinement that you've been holding yourself in for such a long amount of time, group number one. We also have the Eight of Wands. And this is, I feel like all of these wands are your ancestors flying behind you. It's like you have this massive support system that I feel for some of you guys you're not even aware of. But again, with this particular card, I'm seeing like your ancestors walking towards you over this rainbow bridge. You guys are very closely connected to the spirit realm, to your guides, to your ancestors, and they're very much so guiding you, trying to guide you, trying to point the way for you. And I'm hearing something here like there's a need to kind of just either make a decision very quickly or allow yourself to take action very quickly, almost like just getting it done and over with, ripping it off like a band-aid, doing it very quickly, so that you're not giving yourself time to hesitate or to change your mind. Or to allow, there's a message here with this Eight of Wands to not allow your fear to hold you back or to change your mind. And I also feel for group number one that there's going to be a lot of doors opening the more you're able to shift and to move and to turn onto this new path that's more authentic to yourself. There's going to be a lot of doors opening that are going to ask you to move deeper into this new path. It could be job opportunities for some of you guys. And I'm just really feeling, even like sponsorships for some of you guys is something that's coming through here. So if that's something that applies to you, I do see that happening. Some of you guys may be thinking about like changing your niche. And that can mean different things for different people, as this is a general reading, but there's this energy here of like, I've always presented myself as this. I've always done this one particular thing, but it's not fulfilling to me. And I really want to shift and move directions and begin doing the thing that I truly want to do. And there's a lot of support in that for group number 1. And then we also have the 5 of Swords. And I feel like this is your ancestors coming through here saying like you've been fighting a battle that it's almost like fighting an uphill battle. Like you've been fighting to preserve something that isn't real. And I don't want to say like you know, what you believe or what you feel isn't real, but what I'm saying here is like you've been fighting for a version of yourself that you don't even want to be anymore. And I hope that makes sense for you, but it's almost like you've been fighting to protect this version of yourself, or fighting to protect your armor, or fighting to uphold this persona of who you are. And like really, I really just see like very forcefully like pushing yourself through the day, pushing yourself to, you know, get this work done, to achieve these goals, to get this promotion in a field or in an area of your life that you don't really want. Like maybe for a lot of you guys, this is definitely being shown to me, kind of like working a job that you hate and going to that job and giving it 110% and fighting very hard to make yourself get up and go, and to do the work that has to be done, and to try to achieve those promotions and try to prove yourself there, even though you don't want to. And your ancestors are saying it's time to shift that. It's time to move into something that is far more authentic, and something that can bring you far more expansion and growth and movement in your life. Because I feel like for a lot of my group number 1s, you may be feeling very stuck. And this is kind of a reflection of that constriction of self within you. You guys may also be worried about who might leave, or the opinions of others, if you fight for this change, or if you allow yourself to be seen for who you truly are. You may be scared of other people leaving, or not accepting you for who you are, or judging you, or giving you their opinion, or them giving you like ultimatums, or telling you like, I'm just really feeling like this sense of fear of losing loved ones, fear of losing the people around you if you embrace your authentic self. And if they don't want your authentic self, they're not really contributing to your life. There's something here where your ancestors are saying that if you're scared that if people do leave when you show them your authentic self, then they're not meant to be there anyways. But there's also this I lost it. There's like this sense of trying to prove yourself all the time. And it's like you're trying to be what everybody or everything around you needs. And your ancestors really want you to let that go. Okay, group number 1. So let's go ahead and we're going to pull a couple more oracle cards here to get a few more messages from your ancestors. For group number 1, please. Okay, we have Druid. Hold the space. There's something very significant here about this meadow, about this space, about this opening, like holding space instead of trying to fill the space or the time with tasks or with other people, okay? So let's pull one final message for group number one. Any last guidance or advice from your ancestors for group number one, please? We have the old one. The ancestors call, seek their wisdom. I love that. So your ancestors are letting you know that they're there, they're supporting you, and they're wanting to help you, they're wanting to guide you, but you have to tune into them and you have to listen. You have to allow yourself to move from that instead of being fearful of the guidance that you're being given, being fearful of the outcome, I feel. Okay, group number one. So this is what I'm seeing for my beautiful souls that chose this pile. If you enjoyed this reading, if it resonated with you, if it brought you value, please hit that like button, as it truly does help to support the channel. Comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this. Let me know what other readings you guys would like to see. And consider subscribing if you feel called to do so. I thank you so very much for joining me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Hello, my beautiful group number two. Those of you that chose the Hush Tarot with the Aura Amethyst here, this reading is for you, and we are looking at messages from your ancestors, what your ancestors want you to know right now. I left this reading very open so that your ancestors could come through with whatever message they felt called to come through with. And group number two, the energy that I'm tapping into coming into your reading is this sense of a glow up, of a spiritual transformation, and I feel a lot of things kind of happening in your energetic field or even in your aura, right? I do feel a little bit of energy surrounding like a sense of perfectionism coming through here that your ancestors are kind of pointing out. So we may dive a little deeper into that, or like this need for everything to be very neat and polished looking. You may be dealing with some triggers or some struggles when things don't turn out the way that you think they should or the way that you expect them to. And this can even play out like in the workplace or just in your everyday life if other people don't do things the same way as you or to the same quality or standard that you have. And yeah, that's something that's coming through here. But I do feel for group number two that your ancestors are saying that you are going through a glow up. It's almost like you are being polished. I do feel a healing of anxiety, a healing of stress coming through here, like really learning how to breathe, how to let go, how to really kind of let go of that perfectionism is, I feel like, what your ancestors want to talk to you about today. So group number two, let's go ahead and get into your reading. I am going to start with an oracle card, and I'm going to read that message out of the book for you. I am also picking up on right now, group number two, this idea of expectations, unmet expectations, unvoiced expectations coming through here. So this could be something that you are being impacted by or something that you are living through, whether these are expectations that you've placed upon something or someone or vice versa. Energy is fluid, so apply it how it resonates, but your ancestors are wanting to bring that up as well. Something about the expectations that you place upon something or someone without actually voicing these expectations or these needs that you have and just expecting them to be met is something that your ancestors are highlighting for you, wanting you to see. So there is a kind of a message here about speaking up for yourself and speaking your needs into existence. Okay, so let's pull your oracle card here, group number two, and see what your ancestors really want to talk to you about today. For group number two, please. What do your ancestors want to talk to you about? Group number two, please. All right, so here we have the ocean, ebb and flow. Yeah, I love that. So I feel like group number Two, you guys are going through this transformation to really learn how to let go, to learn. I feel like a lot of you guys may be in a very fiery energy, and there's a need to kind of tune into this ocean energy. You may be very quick to anger right now, or your anger may be something that you're really noticing, really picking up on. Again, the triggers that I picked up on may be something that you're dealing with. And your ancestors are coming through here, really trying to lead you towards and help you kind of learn how to surrender to the imperfection of humanity. Okay, wow. Let's go ahead and read the message out of the book for you, group number 2, and see what this message is holding for you. If I can find it in the book. Here we go. Ocean, ebb and flow. The ebb and flow of life is never more clearly represented than in ocean's movements. The tides of these great bodies of waters rise and fall in regular rhythms, and the waves continue to roll to the shores in endless, varied patterns, just as they have been doing for millions of years, and will continue to do so for millions more. These tides and waves maintain a relative predictability unless other unforeseeable forces of nature intervene, which have been known to happen. Hurricanes and earthquakes, for instance, can have a dramatic effect on the characteristics of both the tides and the waves. The oceans cover 70% of the earth, and the human body averages a composition of 70% of water. The dynamic gravitational interaction of the sun and moon that moves these massive bodies of water and creates the shifting tides also affects our human bodies in ways that we respond to instinctually, often having a great deal more influence over our moods and emotional states than we are aware of. An important aspect in the art of living is to move with the ebb and flow of your emotions, joining their fluidity but not being captured by it. It is also not necessary to become obsessed with any particular fluctuation in mood or feeling. They are simply emotions, often activated in ways that are completely beyond your understanding. When you neither minimize nor exaggerate the intensity and importance of your emotions, you then have a greater sense of when and how to express them. You have been fighting the ebb and flow of your own feelings, denying your hurt, anger, or sorrow by either attaching yourself to one or the other and nurturing it as if you were a nursing child, or else smoothing over your feelings with more practiced responses that deny and hide what is going on beneath the surface of your expression. When you attempt to constrict yourself from experiencing your emotions, it is much like trying to stem the tides that grow even more forceful with every attempt humans make to control them. Allow yourself to swim with these variations rather than resisting them. So group number 2, your ancestors are coming through here very strongly, saying that the way through this transformation, the way through this journey, this time in your life that you may be currently going through, and for some of you guys, it may be a very difficult period in your life, a very difficult journey that you're traveling. The way through it is through your emotional body, not allowing your emotions to consume you, but by acknowledging them instead of resisting them. Again, the sense of surrender coming through here, group number 2. And also this kind of message of needing to zoom out to see the bigger picture. We can oftentimes zoom in on one thing, on one emotion, on one event, on one comment, on one thing, on one person. And the oceans and the waters cover 70% of the earth. There's so much more than just that one tiny drop of water, right? So let's go ahead and get into your tarot, group number 2, and go a little deeper into this message that your ancestors have for you at this time. Group number 2, please. What do your ancestors want to say for group number 2, please? We have the King of Swords. Again, this is bringing me back to this need to voice what you're feeling, to voice your needs, to not quiet yourself. I feel like that may be kind of a part of how you reject or deny your own emotions or your own self, is by not voicing what you need, by not expressing your needs, your wants, your desires, your thoughts, not using your voice. That's very significant for you, group number 2. So I feel like this kind of transformation, this evolution, this glow up that you're going through has a lot to do with your throat chakra and the way that you speak, the way that you use your words, and the power that you put behind your words instead of trying to maybe hurt other people. Maybe you've been in a state of like lashing out or like using your words as weapons, using the truth as a weapon for some of you guys. And this glow up, this transformation that you're going through has a lot to do with learning how to voice what you're feeling inside and what you need internally instead of lashing out at others or at something else because you're not getting those or because you're trying to deny that you need these things or that you want these things. I hope that makes sense for you. We also have the Lovers coming out here. Communication, trust, communication. A lot of you guys, this particular energy that your ancestors are wanting to talk to you about is going to be seen in your relationships. It could be in your romantic relationships. And for some of you guys in your romantic relationships, you may not be able to voice your wants or your needs or to really kind of voice what it is that you want or need out of a relationship. That may be something that you really struggle with, and your ancestors are coming through here very strongly saying like the time is now to speak what you need, to have grace with yourself, and to find trust in yourself and in the needs that you're feeling, in the emotions that you're feeling, in order to find trust in a partner or in a connection, in a relationship, whether it's romantic or not. A lot of you guys may really struggle with trust issues, and this is coming from kind of the root of the fact that you don't trust your own emotions, or you don't trust your own needs, you don't trust your own internal self, and that's kind of reflected in your connections. So this glow up, this transformation is directly going to impact your connections and the way you connect with other people. This is also Gemini energy with the Lovers here. We have a lot of air energy, which again leads to communication. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius may be people that you're dealing with, or that may be a sign that you resonate with. But this is really, I feel like your ancestors are really guiding you to learn how to breathe life into your internal self by speaking it outwardly, if that makes sense for you. Have grace with yourself. Group number 2, have grace with yourself. Don't expect perfection from yourself. A lot of you guys, that perfectionism may really come in the strongest when it's looking in the mirror, expecting yourself to be the best, expecting more, or expecting like more from yourself, expecting yourself to be better, expecting yourself to not make mistakes, expecting yourself to stay strong, to keep yourself held together, to not show any weaknesses. And your ancestors are coming forth here saying, have grace with yourself. Allow yourself to fall apart if you need to fall apart. Group number 2, the only way to rebuild yourself on a better foundation, or as a more authentic version of yourself, as a more honest version of yourself, is to allow this illusion of self to disintegrate, to fall apart. And then we have the Hanged Man. Yeah, I feel like group number 2, a lot of you guys are going through this transformation of learning how to view yourself and your emotions and your intuition and your idea of love even differently. This is very connected to your emotional body and the fact that you deny that part of yourself. For some of you guys, you may even resonate with just denying your feminine self, like your feminine energy. really denying yourself any kind of nurturing, any kind of nourishment, emotional, mentally, physically, however it might come through for you. But constantly giving to other people, constantly giving your time, your energy, your attention, your resources, your ideas to other people, out of this idea that if you just give enough, if you keep giving, that eventually somebody will give back to you. And your ancestors here are saying there's a need to give to yourself. There is a need to be more honest with yourself and acknowledge that the reason why you're giving everything away has more to do with the denial of self than the need for somebody else to give back. I really hope that makes sense for you, group number 2. So there's definitely a shift in perception here in regards to your own emotional state and the way that it impacts or influences others. The way that your energy impacts or influences others, good and bad. Okay, this is about, I feel like group number 2, this is more about a mirror than about other people. This is more about really recognizing self and the impact that self has in the world, instead of recognizing other people's flaws and seeing how that impacted you or how that hurt you, but seeing your own flaws and understanding how your own flaws caused you to maybe lash out or cause harm or hurt somebody else. Really learning how to let go, learning how to forgive is something coming through here quite strongly that your ancestors are wanting to talk about as well. Really learning how to let go of the past, learning how to let go of expectations, let go of what you thought it would be, let go of this is a big one for a lot of people, to let go of the potential that you saw in other people, because potential in other people is really just your own perception of what you would do if you were them, right? It really doesn't have anything to do with them. It's not personal to them, that's personal to you. And there's like a releasing of that trying to come forth, group number 2. And again, with the Hanged Man, there's this idea of feeling very stuck or stagnant, feeling like the waters aren't moving, right? And the only way through this is to churn the waters up, is to go through your emotions, is to reflect internally, to acknowledge and embrace that aspect of yourself that you've been denying or been convincing yourself that it's something other than what it really is, or that it doesn't bother you when it really does. Again, that's going to come through differently for everybody because this is a general reading. So apply it to your scenario, how best it fits, and leave the rest for who it's meant for, group number 2. But let's go ahead and pull a couple more cards for you. Group number 2, what else do your ancestors want you to know, want you to see? Group number 2, please. We have the Lady, the feminine energy. Enjoy growth and reap rewards. Yes, I love this. So this transformation, this glow up has a lot to do with embracing this feminine aspect of yourself, embracing this part of yourself that you've rejected. And for a lot of you guys, this part of yourself that you've rejected internally may play out in your physical world, in your relationships. You may find that you have a difficult time getting along with your mother or any kind of guardian figures or any kind of nurturing energies right now. This doesn't even mean that it's been this way forever, but you may find that you're avoiding these types of energies externally or these types of relationships externally because you're also internally avoiding those aspects of self. But this transformation, this glow up is really, really calling for you to embrace this aspect of self. So even for some of you guys, if that resonates with you, really kind of embracing those around you that represent those energies for you, and embodying those energies can be very, very helpful for you right now as well, even though it may feel very uncomfortable or even vulnerable initially. I'm kind of picking up on this, like, you are who you hang with energy. And if you find that you're hanging out with people who are avoidant, detached, or codependent, or struggle with addictions, or even for some of you guys, it may come through where you surround yourself with people that you view as lesser than you, or that have a lesser mindset, or that aren't as wise, that aren't as good, that can't keep up. This perception, I feel, is to keep yourself on top, to keep yourself in this energy of being good enough, feeling good enough. So there may need to be like an evaluation of your surroundings and the people you're surrounding yourself with, and being very honest with yourself and why you're surrounding yourself with these people or keeping the company that you're keeping, and how it's kind of contributing to your own self-avoidance. Okay. So let's pull one final message here, group number 2. One final message. Any last guidance or advice that your ancestors want you to have at this time for group number 2, please? We have the witch hare. Cross the threshold, leap the hedge, go over the wall. Yeah, you're being asked to really accept, embrace, and go through this aspect of self, to really allow change, surrender, right? Instead of resisting and trying to keep this door locked, allow this door to open. Allow yourself to step through this threshold and allow yourself to introduce yourself to your own feminine energy that I feel like has been locked up, caged up, resisted, rejected. A lot of you guys may find a lot of abandonment issues, trust issues, fear of rejection come up with this kind of transformation as well to work through as you travel down this path. Oh, all right. So this is what I'm seeing for my beautiful group number 2. This is what your ancestors wanted to talk to you about, wanted you to be aware of, wanted you to see. I am sending you so much love, and if you enjoyed this reading, if it resonated with you, if it brought you value, please hit that like button, as it truly does help to support the channel. Comment down below. Let me know if you chose pile number 2. Consider subscribing if you feel called to do so. I thank you guys so very much for joining me here today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Hello, my beautiful group number 3. Those of you that chose the Celtic Dragon Tarot with this beautiful piece of fluorite here, this reading is for you. And we are looking at messages from your ancestors. What do your ancestors want you to know, see, hear, acknowledge at the time that you find yourself at this video? So I left this very open for your ancestors to bring forth the messages that they feel is most necessary for you at this time. So group number 3, coming into your reading, I received like a very straightforward message, like channeled message, and I feel like it has a lot to do with past life energies, or that may be something somewhere where your focus is at right now. I do feel in this lifetime, a lot of past lives are coming, like closure is coming to a lot of past lives in this lifetime. I'm also feeling a very deep soul level kind of energetic healing happening here for group number 3 at the time that you find yourself at this video. And I'm also really getting a lot of karmic clearing. So group number 3, some of you guys may even be like tapping into Akashic Records or studying that, or finding readings here on YouTube that connect you to the Akashic Records. There's just something here about like the past coming into closure. So for some of you guys, this may even be reflected like in your current present day life. There may be a lot of things coming to an end, right? Coming to full circle, bringing closure. But something that came through very straightforward coming into your reading was that maybe you're the karmic. So for some of you guys, this can definitely play out in romantic relationships, or like this idea of soulmates or twin flames, or if you've been with somebody or like waiting for somebody to come back and just being like, well, the person they're with right now is a karmic and we're soulmates, so I know they're going to come back. There's a message coming through here that I know a lot of people don't want to hear because they may perceive it as a negative thing, and it's not a negative thing. I just want to make that very clear. But you could have been the karmic connection that not only helped you heal and balance your own karmic energy, but also helped that other person heal and balance their karmic energy. So for some of you guys, there may be like certain relationships or connections that you've dealt with in this lifetime that were very, very significant. But at the time that you find yourself at this video, they're feeling like they've finally ended. So any kind of connection, or even for some of you guys, there may have been grudges. There may have been like certain events or situations that you've been holding on to for a very, very long time, that either at the time that you find yourself at this video or very soon after, you're realizing don't even mean that much to you anymore. So there is also like this message here that your ancestors are saying, like, allow yourself to live your life right now instead of wishing that it was what it used to be, or wishing that somebody else was with you in order to do this. Like, allow yourself to experience the life that you're currently in, instead of constantly wishing that it was what it used to be or that it was something different. That's a big message coming through here for you guys. Interesting. So group number 3, we're going to start off with an oracle card, and I'm going to read that message for you out of the book to get the kind of overall energy of what your ancestors want to talk to you about at the time that you find yourself at this reading. So let's go ahead and get right into that, shall we? Group number 3, what do your ancestors want to talk to you about today for group number 3, please? Group number 3, please. Some of you guys may really resonate with like medieval times. And even not, I'm still picking up on like that energy. So maybe some of you guys had a past life in that time. Love. See? Compassion. I feel like for group number 3, there's definitely a lot of closure coming to the heart space. The heart space evolving, as well as like this idea of healing from past heartbreak. I wouldn't be surprised if the 3 of Swords comes up in this reading, but there's just this overall sense of karmic clearing being very directly connected to your relationships, to love, romantic relationships. For some of you guys, this could be other kinds of relationships as well. It doesn't have to be romantic, but that energy is here. So some of you guys may even be healing in a present relationship that you're in, really learning how to connect with somebody else on a deeper level than what you've ever been able to as you go through this healing and this purging and this clearing of karmic energies, especially karmic energies connected to love and romance, and some of you guys healing from romantic trauma coming through here quite strongly as well. And that's helping you be able to connect in a much deeper, different way than you've ever been able to, I feel. Okay, so let's read this message out of the book, group number 3, and see what this card has to say for you right now. Group number 3. All right, we have love with compassion. In this beautiful image, we see hands reaching toward each other through a heart. The green field surrounding them is the color of the 4th or heart chakra. It's when we feel love in our heart center that we not only naturally emit the healing energy of compassion, but we also attract love and compassion. Studies by the Heart Math Institute reveal that the electrical signals from the heart are up to 60 times stronger than the brain's, and the magnetic field is as much as 5,000 times more powerful. It is a given that our thinking patterns affect our feelings and in turn our reality. What we put out, whether it's love, fear, empathy, sadness, and so forth, contains an incredible amount of power to shape and influence our reality. When the focus of our attention and intention is love and compassion, we recognize no separation between self and other. All wounds stem from the illusion of separation from Source and all of creation. The route to healing this wound is through cultivating love and compassion for every being on this planet, including yourself. Not a bland standard of unquestioned acceptance, but a heartfelt sense of profound relatedness to whatever you perceive as apart from yourself. True compassion requires not only the feeling of warmth that emanates when you are in touch with your heart center, but in acts of kindness, even if this simply means being a fully attentive listener. Respect the fact that your heart is a giver, putting out electrical energy, and a receiver, drawing in magnetic energy. These energies are best sensed by attending to the steady flow of your breathing while also noticing your heart area. Righteousness, fear, anger, and judgment are some common ways to block your natural desire to love. Forgiveness is not only letting go of judgment, but also seeing through the illusion that you and all that is are separate. Look about you and inside of you and do your best to love whatever you see. So really, group number 3, what I'm seeing here is like this idea of certain relationships not being, like the pain not being so significant anymore, because you're recognizing that even though they may not physically be in your presence, you can still feel the love for them, right? Whether this person is, 10,000 miles away or just down the street, or whether you ended things badly or in conflict, there's just this overall sense of realizing that sometimes it's better to just live from love instead of trying to force something that isn't. This idea of separation is coming through here quite strongly. Some of you guys may resonate with having like a twin flame in separation, or a soulmate that you're not with. Like I said, like being in this energy of like waiting for them to come back, or waiting for, them to leave their karmic, or however that might come through for you. It's going to come through differently for everybody, so apply it how it resonates and leave what doesn't resonate for who it's meant for. But there's this huge idea of waiting for someone, waiting for love, waiting for it to feel like what you think it's supposed to feel like. And your ancestors are saying that right now is the time for you to really tap into your heart space and learn how to love without expectation, learn how to love freely, and without a need for proof of this love, or without need for this love to be returned in a specific way, if that makes sense for you. So this isn't about loving somebody because they're present, because they live with you, because they're in your life every day, or because that's who you want to spend the rest of your life with, or because they're your parent, or because they're your sibling or your friend. This is about loving from this perception of wholeness. I hope that makes sense. So I feel like group number 3, you guys are going through like this huge, I want to use the word epiphany, of like realizing truly how everything is so connected, how all is one, how maybe even you may be realizing like a lot of dots being connected for you spiritually, or like a lot of realizations, a lot of epiphanies, a lot of awareness of the universe, like really seeing the universe, spirit, God, whatever it is you connect with, in everything, and seeing how that connects everything, and how everything is weaved together in a way that allows us to be in connection energetically. It allows us to love regardless of physical presence, regardless of how things ended, regardless of your past or your future. I hope that makes sense for you. Let's go ahead and shuffle some tarot out, group number 3, and go a little deeper into this message that your ancestors have for you right now. Group number 3. So a huge emphasis on the heart chakra. Healing the heart chakra, opening the heart chakra, expansion of the heart chakra. Group number 3. Okay, so we have the Hanged Man coming out. Yeah, again, this energy, like, it's like you've just been waiting for somebody to come back, waiting for somebody to apologize, waiting for somebody to, you may even have this kind of perception or like idea that this person that you're with, for some of you guys, this may be for one person, but there's somebody here where it's like you're with a specific person and you're waiting for them to make up for the pain they caused you in the past. Like you're trying to force them into proving that what they did in the past hurt you. You already know it hurt you. There's nothing that anybody can do to go back in time and to change that. So there's something here about forgiveness as well. Group number 2, like being very caught up on the past, being very caught up on past wounds, and maybe being with the person who caused these wounds and like expecting them to make up for them now, or holding these things against people, holding the past against the future, holding the past against people that you love in some way, shape, or form, that your ancestors are wanting you to acknowledge and maybe look at that differently. Really learning how to, and this got brought up in one of the previous readings, so if you were drawn to another pile, there may be messages for you there too, but really learning how to embrace the imperfections of humanity, and love anyway. Learning how to love even though somebody made a mistake and that mistake may have hurt you. For some of you guys, this could have to do with like parents or guardians as well, like really going through a time right now where you're healing from your past, and healing from heartbreak, and having this realization that your parents or your guardians may have hurt you, but you may have also had this idea or this expectation that they would live up to this idea of what a parent's supposed to be from your own perception. So like having this idea of what they should be, and then being mad because they don't live up to this idea that you have in your own mind. I hope that makes sense. But maybe recognizing that, and this isn't like an excuse, this isn't coming forth saying that like what they did was okay by any means, but there's like a shift in perception happening here in regards to that for some of you. We have the World, completion, closure. Group number 3. There's such an immense amount of closure coming to your heart space. Holding the past up to the present is coming to an end for a lot of you guys. This is, again, over multiple lifetimes even. And I find it very interesting. We have 12 and then we have 21. So we have 1, 2, 2, 1. So those numbers may be showing up for you very significantly. Learning, and I feel like that's the difference between 1 and 2, right? Is separation. 1 is whole. 2 is divided. So there's like an end to division here, an end to separation. For some of you guys, that's going to mean literally. For some of you guys, this is going to mean in the heart space, like a mending of a broken heart is what I'm seeing in regards to that, like your heart coming back together. There's definitely an ending here. Like a starting a new journey, a new chapter, closure happening here, and it's like closure of like the ending of a book rather than, I guess, the ending of a chapter. The Fool. So we have all three major arcanas coming out here. Here's the end, here's the beginning. We have 1, 2, 2, 1, 0. And I find that very fascinating because there's this idea of like 0 comes before 1 if you're beginning to count, right? So this is like the very beginning, but also once you get to 9, when you get to 10, the 0 comes after 1. And it's like this cycle. So there's like an ending of this huge karmic cycle, this soul cycle almost coming through here for group number 3 that your ancestors are wanting you to know. There's going to be a lot of transformation in regards to your perception of love, what love actually feels like for you, and a lot of healing in the heart space for group number 3. This is also group number 3, and then we have 12, which is 3 in numerology, and 21, which is 3 in numerology. So 33 may be coming through as a significant number for you as well. So there's this idea of like loving without expectation, loving without forcing your own perception of what love is on somebody else and expecting them to love you through your own perception of love. For some of you guys, really learning how to come together, regardless of what kind of relationship it is, really learning how to come together. Group number 3, that's what your ancestors are really wanting you to be aware of, and really wanting you to recognize that love isn't restrictive. Love is freedom. Love is liberation. Love isn't one very strict, straight path. It doesn't require somebody to prove themselves to you or for you to prove yourself to anybody else. And if that's something that you're living in, then there may be a need to kind of reflect on your ego to try to understand why you feel like you need to prove yourself, because that's going to come into like self-worth, that's going to come into inner child, that's going to come into confidence, self-esteem. So you may find that some of those energies are coming into play a little bit as you go through this journey as well. You don't have to earn love, group number 3. And for some of you guys, you may be like expecting others to earn your love. And there's a need to kind of reflect on, why? Where is this coming from? What is this coming from? What am I holding against this person? What am I asking them to earn? A little bit of reflection work is necessary there for group number 3, I feel like. But your ancestors are overall saying that there's definitely closure, healing from multiple past lives, soul level healing and closure here, a soul cycle closing here, karmic clearing here, in order for you to start fresh, to start writing a whole new book. I feel like for group number 3, a lot of you guys, it's a year from now, but for some of you guys, maybe even like 3 months from now, are going to be living a whole different life than where you're at right now. So let's go ahead and pull a couple more cards, group number 3, and see anything else your ancestors want to say or talk to you about. For group number 3, please. So anybody here, group number 3, anybody here that's feeling trapped, I'm seeing that energy is going to be being cleared as well, but a lot of that energy is coming from your own subconscious thoughts and patterns and cycles, beliefs of what love is, of what love's supposed to be, of how you feel like you're supposed to act or move in life or love. So that may be something for some of you guys to reflect on as well, or to journal about, do some automatic writing. Why you feel like love is a trap, or why you feel trapped in love, or why you feel like you're not able to do the things you want or express yourself the way you need in a relationship. That's something that's coming through here quite strongly. Where does that come from? What does that stem from? I feel like some inner child work is coming through here as well. But we have here the High Priestess, harness your mystic power. And again, the intentions from love, like moving from the heart space. And this also gives me like this past life vibes here. Harness your mystic power. This is about learning how to be whole without feeling like you need something or someone to fill voids within you. Some of you guys may be healing from codependency, really finally learning what true independence actually is, instead of using this overactive masculine energy as a mask of independence. If that makes sense for you. So there's like a sense of balance coming in here for group number 3. And then our last message from our ancestors, from our guides. Anything else our guides or ancestors want us to know? Okay, so our first one here is the witch hare. Cross the threshold, leap the hedge, go over the wall. Okay, and this is like coming back to here where we're like right in the middle. We're on the fence, undecided, unable to make a move, to choose a direction. This is coming to an end. You guys are finally making a decision. You're taking an action. You're committing in some way, shape, or form. And we also have here strange journeys. Take control of your quest. Choose your companions wisely. Choose your companions wisely. So a lot of healing in regards to the way you connect and interact with other people and in love. Group number 3, and this is what your ancestors want you to know. They want you to know what's happening. I feel like for a lot of you guys, you may not really fully be aware of what's happening yet, but there is a healing and closure to a lot of old wounds that have to do with separation, that have to do with dividing yourself, your energies, or your heart. Abandonment issues, fears of rejection, which in turn is going to lead to leading a whole new life, leading new relationships, learning how to connect in relationships, and learning how to accept the imperfections of humanity. Group number 3, okay? But this is what I'm seeing for my beautiful souls that chose this pile. If this resonated with you, if it brought you value, please hit that like button, as it truly does help to support the channel. Comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this. Let me know what other kinds of readings you guys might like to see. Consider subscribing if you feel called to do so. I thank you guys so very much for joining me here today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.